my Farseer, I'm going to pass the Scroll Town portal back. So we just had 2 Scroll Town portal passes. The Scroll Town portal is used first by the Farseer, but due to the Raider focus fire and all the unit focus fire on that Archmage, the human also has to use his town portal as well to get out of that. So kind of an even hit right there, although the human kind of lost a lot in that, having taken a few losses from his all those early footmen he had. I think he lost maybe 3 or 4 footmen in that fight, whereas the Orc did a good job maybe losing 1 grunt and that early Raider that started that fight. So probably really good for that Orc player right now. If we want to press F11, we can switch between their views. We have 45 out of 50 food for the Orc player, and a little over 51 food out of 72 for the human player. So human player in low upkeep right now, but has expansion, so that's going to kind of make up for the economic fallout he's having here. But he's also going to be opting to speed build this second expansion right now. So he's putting a lot of he's putting a lot of effort into trying to make this economic stand here. If he can get and keep up these expansions right now, he'll have the economic advantage over his Orc opponent. But because he's sitting in low upkeep with only 1 food extra here, maybe killing off a peasant could have kept him in no upkeep, which again allows him to keep more of that gold for himself. And then speed building these buildings here, like the town hall, costs more resources for him, so that's going to mean less units for him as well. So you notice he's opted for all these sorceresses. He's got mass orcs, and he's going to start producing some priests and also some spirit breakers, I believe they're called. Or spell breakers, sorry, spell breakers from the human. God, what a newbie way to call them spirit breakers. So spell breakers from the human, and those are magic immune, just like dryads for the Night Elf players. So those units specifically are going to be immune to the effects of chain lightning and shockwave. So good option to go those spirit breakers. However, going so much slow isn't necessarily that good of an option. Slow combined with thunderclap is very, very effective. We're going to see that as soon as that Archmage hits level 5. I believe maybe he already used it. We'll see if he got his Tome of Retraining. No, he still has his water amounts and stuff. So thunderclap there used in combination with slow. However, those effects are canceled by the use of Scrolls of Speed. So if you're having problems with slow versus human, actually I haven't seen that happening too much lately, but obviously Scrolls of Speed, very, very good kind of temporary counter to that. Use that, and then after your Scrolls of Speed fade, you can start using Disenchant from your Spirit Walkers, again, to get rid of that slow and force those sorceresses to use their mana on more slows to waste them off. So now with Raiders having their Ensnare research, actually it's been researched for a little while now, they're easily going to be able to pick off all these sorceresses now. So all the human sorceresses now gone. All we have left is, looks like 1 priest now for that Archmage, and he's bringing his a footman, and he purchased a mercenary, the Forest Troll Berserker, to kill off all the peons at that Orc player's expansion while they were having that little skirmish there. But now the Orc player coming around to pick those off. He actually retreats in a good amount of time, but the Orc player brings his Raiders around on the backside and is able to do some ensnaring here. So you notice the unit placement here. He's kind of getting the closing the gap here on this human player for this creep jack. He almost picks off this Force Troll Berserker. The Berserker makes it out with 2 hit points before that town portal goes off. So again, really, really close matches there. And you see that Raider there with just really low dark red HP, so like 10 hit points, I think, right there. So very interesting to see how these guys make their micro decisions and their priority choices here. I talk about the priority choices a lot in my audio commentaries. So it's very interesting to see how these different pro players make different decisions. You know, these are SK's kind of either European. Sorry, I'm way behind on my professional scene here, but so either European or Asian, I guess. Definitely not U.S. players here. So interesting to see how different countries actually make their priority choices as well. So Orc player trying to counter trying to counter all that expansions by the human player by setting up an expansion on his own. However, he's not fortifying with any towers or any burrows or anything like that. He's not wasting the resources to do that because the human player is easily going to be able to pick off all that with his larger army here. So human player making his way to that Orc expansion up at the top right that just got finished up. Oh, he's going to have to cancel all those peons, and he's actually going to lose this expansion at this point. But instead of TPing to save it, he's going to have this. Actually, he doesn't. Oh, he does have a TP. Instead of making the decision to save that, he's now going to say, okay, well, I have probably a better army size at the moment, or sorry, a better tech advantage. Whoops. Hold on, I just paused my game, so it might be a little off sync from you guys. I'm at 15:08 right now. All right. He's taking out that last the humans expansion, so he's kind of trading expansions for it at this point. Good idea. The human does have a larger army at this point. Sorry, I actually said that the orc player had a larger army. So it's 70 food compared to 58 food right now. The orc player needs a little bit more army to actually compete for this. But he is going to TP to save his other expansion, which right now is being attacked just by these 3 footmen who are trying to take out those peons at the moment. And now the human player, after taking out that expansion, decides to make his way over here. So orc player TPing in with plenty of time to try to pick off these units again. He's level 5 on his Farseer, level 4 on his Tauren Chieftain. We see Blizzard going off now by the Archmage. He used the Toll of Retraining, obviously, to do that. However, it's channeling and easily canceled by Raider and Snare. So it's kind of difficult to see whether a channeling decision is a good idea versus Raiders, but you'll see how effective that Clap and Blizzard combo is. It's picking off nearly all those Orc units. You see a lot of Raiders and Grunts have gone down. Obviously, Grunts taking extra damage from that magic-based damage by Blizzard. And the Raiders and Spearwalkers and Kodos, they don't take extra from it, but that's still very, very damaging considering how low hit points are. That Farseer just barely makes it out. 2 hit points with a volley from one of those casters. Just barely hit him. Uses scroll speed to get out of there. So he's in a very, very tricky position at the moment. Tauren Chieftain at level 5, which means level 3 Chain Lightning or Shockwave, will be very, very devastating to the Sorceresses and Priests. However, again, those Spellbreakers immune to that kind of type of damage, so it's they're able to stand up to that with no problem at all. Now the human player decides to really not counter Chain Lightning and Shockwave anymore, making the bulk of his army in Spirit or Spellbreakers. He doesn't have to worry about countering it, or he's not opting to worry about countering it with his Scrolls of Healing. So the units that aren't magic immune are going to take a lot. These low hit point units, the Sorceresses, and whatever left of the footmen and the priests or whatever, are going to die relatively quickly to that kind of damage. So instead of opting to buy Scrolls of Healing, he decides not to do that, obviously. So we'll see how well that works out for him. Obviously, he loses this game, as I told you guys earlier. So we're not going to see it being a very, very good move for him to do that. But he's using his resources in other ways, so it works out good. I'm going to F11, switch back to C. You see both players have an abundance of wood. They're spending a lot of their gold on items. And on maps that have the Goblin Laboratories, or sorry, the Goblin Merchants, and things like that, you definitely want to be iteming up your heroes. And again, it can mean the difference of your battles here. And obviously, Scrolls of Healing being very effective in almost every situation, but especially when you're up against a lot of area of effect. You see the Orc hero, the Orc hasn't opted yet to get his Scrolls of Healing to counter the effects of Blizzard, and the Archmage now seeing that he's kind of soon he's going to be seeing that he's in a disadvantage as far as the army size, so he's going to buy that Tome of Retraining and train back to the level 3 water elementals instead of the level 3 Blizzard, and that's going to give him, the more units to make a better stand here. However, we'll see how that works out again in the end. I'll make some points when he actually does that. I don't know if he's actually done it yet. I'm kind of skipping around here on the replay, so apologize for not giving you guys the update on exactly when he's doing that, but I will let you know he is doing that. So he actually had to purchase 2 Tomes of Retraining in this game and opts to switch out his skills twice. So if you're a human player, definitely kind of be aware of what you're up against. If you're up against a lot of stuff that Blizzard would be effective against, i.e. like a lot of Grunts and things like that, go for Blizzard. If you're up against maybe Raiders, a lot of Raiders, Blizzard's not going to be that effective because it could be canceled easily by an Ensnare. So kind of keep your eye on that. And also it should be noted that those Spellbreakers are going to be immune to Blizzard damage, so if they're up front, he can feel free to cast that Blizzard and have no problem. Now the Orc player isn't doing a good job of kind of moving his units out of Blizzard. Instead, he's just trying to cancel Blizzard when it's actually cast. So level 6 Archmage right now, he is going to opt for that mass teleport, and we'll see it used a little bit later, but it's actually gets canceled again relatively easily by Ensnare. So the Mountain King now in really bad positioning. You see how he was kind of trying to get up in that corner there, but he was blocked by a bunch of those Spellbreakers and the Goblin Shredder. So he decides to move off to the western front there, and they get a really good, you see as soon as he finally gets that Blizzard Clap combo off, a lot of the Orc army just dissipates. He's now down to 48 out of 70 food, and the human player with 53 out of 84 food. So the human player kind of has a little bit of advantage here. The Tauren Chieftain nearly goes down there, but the scroll of, a potion of healing was passed off by the Farseer to get the Tauren Chieftain back to orange health here, and he decides to buy another potion of healing from that Voodoo Lounge to keep him alive. However, the Mountain King does go down to a quick volley of just Raiders chasing them again with the Ensnare. But human player, if you're holding all here, again, you can see how the human player is doing a good job of picking off the low HP units, and you see how the